Blog Talk Radio.
He is the last of his kind. All that remains of a once powerful nation. Some think he is a myth. Some believe he is the chosen one, who will bring balance to a world at war. And some will stop at nothing to destroy him.
Welcome, Moors to Moors Talk Live 100. I'm your host, Tahaka Amana El Bay, and this evening we'll be talking about health, nutrition, and agriculture. Hold on.
It's time. Summon of the Moors, December 19th through the 20th in Jacksonville, Florida. Several great minds working on one collective, economic security. For the first time in Jacksonville, Taj Tariq Bey, Yusuf L, Akili, and back at the summit, Red Pill and Blue Pill, Tahaka Amana El Bay, Sharif Noble, and our Amma, the Abundance Child, with myself, Dalo Saku. Register today at www.summitofthemoors.com.
Okay, Moors, we're ready to go. But before we do, I'm going to ask that you get your paper and pencil handy because we're going to be talking about nutrition, health, and what makes you whole. And we're going to be talking about agriculture. That means that things that you can grow right there in your own home, right there on your own property. And we're going to give you a breakdown on that information. But before we do, I got to make a couple announcements. On the 14th of this month, make sure that y'all tune in to Moors Talk Live 100. Dr. Walter Williams will be back with the historical origins of Islam. So make sure that you catch that. That's on December the 14th, right here on Moors Talk Live 100. Also, tomorrow night, we will have Dr. Hindu Henderson, an ad hoc judge for the Universal World Court. So make sure that you're here. He's going to drop some very, very important information on us. I got a chance to attend a conference call, got a chance to talk to him today. And he has agreed to come in, and as soon as we get his information, we will put it up and post it for tomorrow's broadcast. That's the Dr. Hindu Henderson, an ad hoc judge for the Universal World Court, will be our special guest tomorrow night. But without further ado, we're going to give you plenty of time to go get your paper and pencil, and when you come back, we're ready to go. I see my guest is on the line, so y'all hold on one second. Get your pencil and paper. Come on back, okay?
Infectious with my own way. Won't expect you truth is, you must be in business for yourself. Now let's take a look at this. Dial this number, 972-999-9277 for the 2-minute message. When you're done, call Tahaka, 904-303-9061. You got to be in business for yourself. For the hottest business opportunity going today, dial 972-999-9277. That's 972-999-9277. When you're done, call Tahaka, 904-303-9061. The greatest business opportunity this century. Don't miss it.
Okay, boys, we back. It appears that my guest is on the line. I'm going to open up the phone line. Area code 706. You are on the air. Come on in.
Peace to the God. What's going on, Brother Tahaka?
Peace to the gods, my brother. Peace to the gods. We're winding down. Time is winding down, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Closer and closer.
Excellent subject tonight. Health, nutrition, agriculture, man. I got some questions. Yeah. Now,
me too.
But before we, you got questions?
Oh, we got questions.
Okay. But before we get into this thing, man, come on out here and get your soapbox out. Come on out here and let us know what you think about this thing, man. Because in my opinion, you the expert. You the baddest brother I know in this town. Hands down, bar none. Because man, you know, they standing on the corner with their chest stuck out. I said, boy, you can't even spell the word bean. So don't know how you got to go ahead, old brother. We're listening.
All right. I'm sorry. Hold on, Todd.
Oh, okay. But in the meantime,
sorry,
ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got your paper and pencil. Okay, go ahead.
What are we talking about? What's the topic?
We talking about this health and nutrition and this agriculture. I know you had to get the soapbox. I know you got it ready by now. And I need to know your take on this thing, man. What's your take?
Bottom line and the same thing, same principle. What we always talked about is ownership and control. That's why we can get on the phone on this blog talk Mondays and Wednesdays and have a different topic every time, but it always boils back down to ownership and control. Do we own the food that we eat? No. If the grocery stores close down tonight, most of the people listening will live for 3 or 4 days, and they're done. They don't know that they can survive off of dandelions or maybe help them out a little bit, or they don't know how to tap into the reserves, the water reserve in Springfield, Jacksonville, that's right up under their feet. You understand? They don't know how to tap into the wells. They don't know how to find the water. They don't know the herbs to tap into, to utilize. And so so what we talk about is educating ourselves. It's always about the empowerment when we educate ourselves, because the more we know, the more comfortable and confident we are as we move on this particular plane. And so, again, ownership and control when it comes down to our food. And the saying is, he who controls the food controls the man. And we got to get to a point where we aren't wanting to be controlled. We aren't going to take, when it's easy, and replace for our ownership, our sovereignty, which is the ownership, when you own something. So it's just like when they brought in the remote control, it made us a little bit lazier versus getting up and going to the television, right? When they made the microwave, it made it a little bit easier for people to just, instead of, traditional family, eat at the same time. And, if it wasn't there, the plate was in the oven. Easier for you to just skip the whole family dinner thing and just come in and warm your food up. Convenience. We traded in our ownership for convenience. And see, when we're eating these foods, which are controlled by corporations, and corporations are driven by profit. Unless it's a corporation that has a bigger mission, a conscious mission, which we can get into later, like Whole Foods, for example. They have what they call the whole conscious capitalist thing I talk about also. The majority of these people aren't dealing with consciousness. They just simply want the profit. This is why we can go to the grocery store and see certain fruits in the grocery store all year long, and they're not supposed to be in season all year long in the state of Florida.
That's right. That's correct.
So our diet should change winter, spring, summer, fall, at least 4 times a year. It should be adjusted. Just like any strategy, it should be adjusted. Mindset, adjusted. Adjusted to be able to empower itself, to strengthen itself, to cover all weaknesses. And so as we move forward and get older, we should be good. We should coast our life out. We shouldn't have to worry about insurance, health insurance, because we don't get sick. We don't get ill. We don't put ourselves in positions to get hurt or injured, which ties into the financing. You should be able to have the money in investments, put up certain places. These are things we're saying, but, for future, this is how we should be moving forward. And so the foods are brought in from different parts of the world, from other continents, so that they can continuously feed the consumer in America. But America is getting a little smarter. They are, because of the age of technology, the guys who have invented the web. Now you have information at your fingertips. And so if anybody read the Wall Street Journal today, there was a huge article in there about in the business and tech page. Right, first part is about Zuckerberg giving away half his fortune. We're getting that later on. But below it, he's giving away $45 billion. But below it talks about food makers try to paint with natural palettes. So General Mills, the one who make tricks, they jumped out. and they understand they're getting rid of it. It says major food companies have announced plans to remove artificial ingredients in response to growing consumer pressure by reconstructing recipes. By reconstructing recipes can be tricky, as trick cereal maker General Mills finds out. Some of the natural alternative food makers are using for color. You know, using radishes for the reds and carrots for the oranges, those type of things, versus those dyes and those artificial things that destroy our melanin. So we can get into that later on too, because our melanin is, that's, to me, that's that universal thing that sets us apart from any other being on the planet. That's why you hear a lot of vegans and vegetarians talk about the plant-based diet, because that chlorophyll is like the melanin. The chlorophyll to the plant is the melanin to the human body, especially the Moors. We're very special beings. And so, if we don't have a proper diet, proper plant-based diet, and some other things that take place, then we have the diseases that take place. And one of the foremost authorities on this is Dr. Laila Afrika. He talks about it thoroughly in his book, Nutricide, African Holistic Health. These books are classic books that he put out. So where we at now?
Well, I was going to ask the question because when we're talking about, basically any subject that you and I'm looking at the average Joe just sitting in his living room in his lounge chair listening to the broadcast, and I'm thinking, what is it that we can say to him, that her, that they can use now to improve their condition? So my first question is, why should people be concerned about growing their own food in the first place? Why should we be concerned about that? What is the alarm?
Well, we should be very alarmed at the fact that we're still looking at corporations and who they're also tied to our oppressors for our food supply. We're very dependent on others to give us our food. And guess what? We have to give this food to our children. I mean, the children should at least see you going to the backyard with them doing some type of harvesting or some type of plant that they're going to eat, some type of vegetable, some type of fruit. This empowers them. This puts another wrinkle in the brain that normally most children in the city don't get. Even if it's a small milk cart like we used to do when I was little and put that seed in there and just put it in the window and watch it grow, it does something. It sparks the imagination. It sparks ingenuity inside these children. But we have to be very concerned at the fact that, and see, what happens is we are so conditioned into being complacent and dependent on other corporations to feed us, we don't even see anything wrong with it. Mm-hmm. Right? How you doing? So we don't see anything wrong with it. So we got to get to a position for that regular guy. The first place I would tell him that, man, is eliminate all white things out of his diet. Sugars, flours, flour, rice. You want to eliminate those things. And I'm not an expert. I'm still adjusting my diet. But those things have been long gone out of my diet as well, because most of them are artificial, and there's no nutritional value in anything white, period, especially those salads. So that's the first thing I do. That's the easiest thing. Then I had this conversation all the time. I tell them that, and the other thing I tell them that is for the women. Break that down for me. For the women is what do you call this? The seasonings. Look for that MSG and that monosodium glutamate inside of that. Inside of the yes, sir. Inside of the seasonings. Eliminate that stuff out your food. And understand we gotta do a little research. We all gotta be our own scientists, and and do some stuff, because the most important thing in your life is your food. So why wouldn't you want to do a little bit of research? Why wouldn't you want to be able to engage into a conversation about your diet? I moved back to Jacksonville in 2002, and the majority of the people I came up with, they was all built like capital D's and lowercase B's. Their stomach was fruiting. They look like pregnant men. You understand? And then that all ties into your relationship aspect. You have food and fat that's bearing down on your internal organs, which is your second part of your brain. Those internal organs, that lower part, it affects the way you act, how you function, especially how you function in a relationship. Because when it's bearing down, you're dysfunctional and you're probably full of disease. That's why they wind up having diabetes. Their joints are bad. They don't exercise. They don't do anything to progress that body. And so it affects the women because that's the relationship they're in with. Now the women got the man that she fell in love with or was attracted to is now gained 30 and 40 pounds on her. Right? So there's a drastic change from that one guy who's 20 or 30 pounds lighter on top of you. Okay? He can't go longer. Guess what? Now he got that belly, that dingling a little shorter too now. Let's get to the facts. Get that belly the way. So you're going to be able to get all that meat you want. Okay? So when you talk about diet affects the holistic approach in your entire life. So that guy, that woman, that brother, that sister sitting on the sofa who don't know anything, it's the first time ever hearing me or Tahaka or anything talk about diet, man, get rid of all the white stuff. Stop drinking sodas. Anything artificial. Eliminate it. And watch what happens. There's a change. Start to exercise. Your body will talk to you. You have to listen to your body. If you got a little ache over here, you need to pay attention to it. If you're hungry, you need to pay attention to it. You don't flood the hunger. Okay? That's why we had this thing in our body, part of melanin. You don't flood the hunger. You give it and you appease it.
Okay. Now you mentioned MSG. What is that?
MSG is modern sodium glutamate, and from my research, it's the thing that tells the brain that this food tastes good. And I'm gonna give you a prime example. For those who ever ate Doritos, or those who ever ate Funyuns, oh yeah, we love it. We love the Funyuns, we love the Doritos. And then let's look at Lay's potato chip. If I sit down that Lay's potato chip bag against a bag of Doritos, which one do you think gets snatched up? Number one, the marketing. It's all color. See the color? That bright color? Yeah. Right? And Doritos full of MSG. Lay's potato chips isn't. You know, again, when we grew up on plain potato chips because all we do is cut that bag in half, throw the hot sauce and some ketchup. Boom, we good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a pickle. You know what I mean? We was good. We had a party. So these are the things that's, you know, the Asian, a lot of the Asian restaurants, why probably why they're so popular is because of the MSG. So that's one of the main ingredients that a lot of us have to look at inside of our ingredients. You just go in the cabinet and you look for MSG. Modern sodium, it's probably going to be spelled all the way out, and get rid of it and start using not garlic salt but garlic powder. Take that white side out. If you're going to use salt, use Himalayan salt. It's pink, or sea salt. You know, you just start one thing at a time. You know, you don't have to go. I'm stopping at that. You know, you have to and use YouTube. If you don't know how to cook what they think vegetarian dishes are made out of or vegan dishes, use YouTube and Google it. There's great dishes on there. And or order Bunny's Child, Drop Squad Kitchen, vegan cookbook. Most cookbooks out there.
Now, I have to agree. You know, I wasn't thinking about the Doritos. I like Doritos. I got
we all like
Doritos. About the Dorito business, man. I got to do something with this extra sack of Doritos. But anyway, what kind of food should we be feeding our children?
Well, for breakfast, we want foods that are alive. And I think with the presence of Dr. Sebi in the last 10 years, he's been putting out great information on, I think Dr. Sebi has helped shifted people conversation about alkalinity and Dr. Africa definitely was doing it because we, when we brought him to Jacksonville a couple of times at Nefertiti Bookstore, he gave us a thing where we could test our pH balance in our mouth and with our pee.
Right.
Dr. Sebi's been kind of moving, full steam ahead in popularity with, the whole mucus thing. All diseases are one thing. So,
right.
People that are learning and want to change, like me, I look up this information. I do research. I cross reference. I get a big dog's call and talk to him if I can and see what's going on. And I've always believed in fresh fruit and vegetables as an adult. Now, as a child, a child don't know better. A child is going to be addicted to anything that's sweet to appease their selfishness as a child.
Right.
It's just about themselves. So, and blueberries, fresh fruit, anything that's alive. And
it's always got to be in season because it's just natural for me, I guess, because I grew up, growing our own foods and having a garden and all this stuff. It's just natural. I know I can walk in the store today, in a grocery store, and I can see cuts of sliced watermelon. They got different summer fruits and stuff that's still out there, and you still have people buying it. And it's just like, okay, they don't know any better. And I hate to be, bothering people in there. A lot of times I every once in a while I might see somebody standing up with some grapes, trying to look at the grapes and stuff. And I just give them a quick plug, hey, if it ain't got no seeds in it, put it down. If you're going to use some grapes, you want the ones with the seeds in it. Any seedless anything, the molecular structure is broken. It is that absolutely doesn't have any nutritional value. Nectarines and I think we don't have a lot of information on man-made fruits and vegetables opposed to natural fruits and vegetables. We think carrots are natural, but they're not. Potatoes. It's a whole lot of stuff that we think is natural. We even have gotten thrown off about what's a fruit and what's a vegetable. And this is information that we really need to know, man. We really need to know this stuff.
Well, here's my thing. First, let me say this disclaimer. I am not an expert on what you should eat. All right? Because you have a lot of people that's more highly qualified than I am. I just like to put in the mentality of how we need to get to owning our food supply and making sure we have the proper diet and how it affects our entire life by eating this artificial food that we're eating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely very important in what we're feeding our children because it's something that we're passing on. So just like these people that eat pork, and you say, well, you don't eat the pork because you get hot blood. Oh, my grandma ate pork, so I'm eating pork. Okay, then. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I love my boys to say, we don't drink milk, we don't eat this sugar, we don't do this. My Baba didn't do that. My Omi didn't do that. Their children will go forth and do the same thing. So we'll put that energy out in the universe.
Well, I've been on top of that for years. I learned that turkey has tryptophan in it. You can eat some of that, and when we're on, you need to take a nap because it puts you to sleep. It does.
Got that itis in it.
Yeah. You eat some of that, you go in and sleep. You eat enough of it. And I got books.
Why do you think that is?
Clearly,
that's pretty deep, though.
I don't know. It's called tryptophan. If you just type it in in Google and read about it. and
Right.
and then think back to when you have ate turkey, and what did you do after you ate turkey? It wasn't one long before you need to take a nap.
Yeah.
To put you to sleep. And the
Well,
ham, they found.
Go ahead.
The ham, I got some books that was put out by the Shahrazad Ali and also some by the Nation of Islam to show you even after you cook pork, you still haven't killed the worm in the meat. And I've seen people that have been on like a pork-based diet. A lot of them grew up in the country and stuff, and chitlins and hog maws and and collard greens, and all this was just a standard-based Sunday meal that was just standard procedure. But then when they get down sick, they cannot defend themselves. It's as if the body can yield absolutely no defenses because they've been destroyed the internal organisms of the body where it can't defend itself, and they die. And that causes a lot of times people will be down and the doctor say, well, he's a good fighter and this, that, and the other. But I mean, if your body ain't fighting, you don't have anything in it. I know the body is made out of cells inside out. And in order to feed the cells, everything you put in your mouth had to be turned to a liquid, and juicing comes in and all that. But still, you don't just juice anything. You got to know what you're putting in the body, and you got to make sure that whatever it is that you're putting in there is holistic. Because stuff in the grocery store, first of all, a lot of people won't probably disagree with me, but in my opinion, there's absolutely no food in the grocery store. Ain't no food in there, man. It's stuff in there they call it food. But when you really check, the nutrition is not there. And this society is not based on nutrition, it's based on taste. Everything is about taste. Nothing nutritional.
That's a good point. As I said, basically, for people that cook food, we're basically just eating the seasoning. Because I can make vegan chicken. Vegan chicken tastes just like regular fried chicken and have a tad bit of the consistency when you break the chicken open. You can make crab cake and don't have a tad bit of crab in it. You know what I mean? So it's important. It's important to point out too how a lot of these our eating habits are basically European eating habits. Basically the entire diet is a European diet, and we have to adjust that as well. For example, putting butter on bread. Putting butter on bread came from when the European would put pig grease on the bread to soften it up because the teeth were rotten. Okay? So it was to soften the bread up.
Okay.
What's the reason we put butter on bread? Where the hell that come from?
I don't know. People just be we be doing stuff without questioning its origin, and so we just be doing stuff. But if we start looking at what we are doing and then questioning about what we're actually doing, I think that be different. But you got to have some information, and you're gonna have to do the research because economic. We live in a money-based economy, but you can't do anything, regardless of what it is that you're trying to do, in the United States on an improper diet. I mean, you're just not going to think properly if you're putting the wrong foods. If you're purchasing the wrong items and you put them together to make certain dishes and stuff and calling it food, you're not gonna. Your thinking is not going to be proper. Your mood swings, your attitude, your actions, the way you handle yourself, and all that stuff is going to be kind of productive.
That's melatonin.
Did you call it melatonin?
Yeah, melanin is made out of melanin is a converter of sun energy. It's a biochemical polymer, so it's composed of different type of chemical species like melatonin, serotonin, trypsin, and these things. Trypsin is like it's an amino acid, and the melatonin is a hormone that's made by the pineal gland that deals with our awakening and sleeping, and serotonin is a neurotransmitter. So what it does is it triggers and releases certain things from into the blood, which deals with our moods, our perception of pain, hunger, where our food is digested. And that has to be, this is why the melanin, you have to have a proper diet so the melanin can remain clean. You understand? So when it's clean, it releases, it has the vitamin B, that fights off the toxins that's inside of our blood. That's why melanin is what it is. That's why we're super beings, man, and don't even know it. And we treat it. We really have to, when you get into understanding diet, before that we have to get into understanding how the human body works and what it's tied into. And so I'm not the one to break all of that down. You would have to bring in people who fully understand that, who's been doing it for years, and now been tied, tested, proven to be a true master on that particular topic. But this is why you can look at the mood swings, the diet thing, because their melanin isn't clean. It's not operating at full capacity and what it's supposed to do. You look at the skin, being an adult, and you got a bunch of pimples over your face, your chest, your shoulders, and your back. That's because of the impurities. Still, and that's based on your diet. Body. Inside the body. The way you look on the outside is what you are on the inside. It is a simple physical reflection of what you are on the inside. So it's a telltale sign. I mean, that's why I got to keep referring back to Dr. Africa's book, man. He breaks down the face peer diaphragm. If you have pimples on the forehead, the cheekbones, the lower part, and all those are tied to the organs. There's something going on with the particular internal organs if you have pimple on your right cheek or your left cheek. You understand? So that's the science and the holistic approach of understanding your body.
Okay. Well, I know one thing that I'm pretty sure you can tell us about. What is moringa? Give us a breakdown on that.
Well, simply put, man, moringa is a superfood that was made. That comes out of Africa and Asia, and it's high in antioxidants. It's high in protein per teaspoon. This is teaspoon per protein, vitamin C. You name it, moringa has it, and we grow it, and then we made it into a cash crop where it can help sustain our small little things that we do around the city. And moringa powder. We have capsules, vegetarian capsule pills out of it as well. I mean, it helps levels the blood sugar level for people with diabetes. I mean, it helps promote hair growth. It's a superfood. It's not a herb. It's a real food. And I just harvested some this week, dehydrated down, and then we crush it down into a powder. And it's actually even more concentrated as a powder than it is as a leaf, which you don't want to. People do cook it. A lot of people in Africa do cook it. And of course, when you cook the vegetables, you lose a lot of the nutritional value in it.
Right.
So we don't cook it.
Once it reaches a temperature of 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. So when if we're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we can take a teaspoon of moringa powder and sprinkle it over our food and mix it in, and will that will help us, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. You can I take it I throw it in thing of real lemonade in the morning because I don't like the taste. Throw it in the bullet, and I take it to the head. I do a nice heaping spoonful. It's recommended 2 teaspoons a day. I do a tablespoon. And you can throw your eggs, salads, anything. It works.
Now
it's a good thing. Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of brothers and sisters that's listening to the broadcast tonight might want to be able to get some moringa powder, and in my opinion, I think they might as well get some from you. You want to give out some information how they can get a hold of getting some from you, or you want to save it to the summer? Which one you want to do?
You can call and text me because we don't do a website because of canning laws and all of that. But you can just call me at 706-284-9808. 706-284-9808. You can text me what it is that you want. We have 8 ounces and we have 16 ounces. And we've set it up where we can do a wholesale venture for you. So you just call in, make an inquiry, and then we'll get to it. We want to set the thing up where, how people out here selling Organo Gold coffee?
Yeah.
Or some type of coffee. Or just like to sell Avon. Moringa powder is that thing that can also do the same thing, where it also has a real benefit. When you grow, when you're a real owner of the product, and you make everybody else an owner of the product, everyone can benefit from it. Not only financially, but health-wise as well. So that's where we're growing to it. So I think in maybe the next 3 years we'll have it already. I mean, we're doing it now on a small scale, but in the next 3 years we'll be full-fledged with it.
All right, because I got me. I got my moringa. I put my teaspoon on my food if I'm gonna eat. I'll sprinkle it over there and I'll eat it down. And this is on a regular basis. And what about the kale?
So you're looking great, by the way. So I'm gonna tell you that you're looking great through that, bro. You've been working out, eating that moringa powder, huh?
Yeah, man. It wasn't the gym. It wasn't the gym because I've been going out there and opening up the gym and looking around in there, and I keep it sweeped out. And then I like to do, but I come back and eat the I come back, yeah, man. I'll be getting a little workout on in there. I definitely eat my moringa powder, no doubt. But now the kale. The kale. Tell us about the kale. Y'all still got the kale powder?
No, we're all out of kale. But kale is having to be. Kale is also a superfood. It's high nutrients, iron and stuff. So with the kale, with a lot of the foods that we were growing last year, stuff that we weren't able to sell or just give away, we're able to break it down into the powder form. And we broke it down in powder form, we were able to create a product from it. So last year we had moringa powder, kale powder. We had the echinacea as well because we're growing the echinacea, which is good for the immune system. And we had some other stuff. And then, again, we'll be having that coming up soon because we're going to get started in the middle of January, the New Moors Urban Farm in the Sankofa district. Yes, sir.
All right, you gotta let me know, man, what y'all growing and what you got available, man, so I can get it and get some of it over here, man, and turn it on to the little folks that work out with me. What kind of what do you recommend for illness?
Well, I'm not a doctor.
There's a lot of stuff.
So, illness, of course, majority of illnesses are based on your diet.
And
so I have on my account, I have a gang of herbal extracts. Some I've been using for over 20 years, which is echinacea, astragalus reishi. I've been using that for maybe since '93. I think herbal extracts are good if you know how to utilize them. You know, again, even in Dr. Africa book, African Holistic Health, he lays it out for you with if you have a particular illness, what herbs to take for it. But I don't talk myself into getting sick. Somebody sneezes, be like, "Oh, I think I'm getting sick." I sneeze and think, "Oh, okay, something touched my nose." You understand? People can talk themselves into illness. I think having a healthy mind first and having a healthy body to be able to fight and making sure your white blood cells, which fights off the infections, are steadily strong. And that's why your diet, that's why certain herbal extracts that come in and help build up and keep those white blood cells strong. Echinacea does that. The reishi does that. And there's a few more. There's a bunch of other stuff that's out there that helps keeps the blood clean and strong. And of course, the proper diet. So, you know, if somebody's sitting there being ill, it's just hard for me to say. I just be like, yo, take this every hour on hour. Put this under your tongue so it goes directly to your bloodstream.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got a lot of food supplements on the market today, and I'm like this right here, man. And I mean, I don't know why I feel this way, but it don't grow on the earth. I'm like, it ain't got no business in there, and that's the way I see it. I mean, we got a lot of folks. They get a lot of food supplements that's out there. They got the Super Beet, all kinds of stuff. And people are ordering this stuff and they're taking this stuff. But to me, it either, if it don't grow naturally, if it's not a natural, come from a natural plant-based item, that's the way I look at it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take these things, but that's just the way I look at it.
I agree, and that's a little tougher. Again, you know, we give up our ownership and our personal sovereignty for convenience. Mm-hmm. Corporations again taking the things that they've made in the warehouse versus what the planet is made for you to be able to consume and place it right alongside the natural stuff. And what that does is it adjusts our decision-making for artificial versus natural, you know what I mean? And so you create an entire culture that's been addicted to artificial painkillers, artificial foods, food supplements. You have entire stores with no real food in them, no food at all. These are most of these health food stores. You call it health food store, but there's no food in them.
That's right. I got a caller with his hand raised. Hold on a second.
No food at all.
Area code 678. You're on the air.
Call it health food store, there's no food in them. That's right.
678. You're live on the air.
Hold on a second. No food at all. 678, that's Atlanta.
That's Atlanta. Atlanta, you got your speakerphone on, man. Get off that speakerphone so we can hear you, man.
All right. How y'all doing?
All right,
hey,
what's
we're
up,
fine, brother? Let us have it.
Good. Well, just calling in, you know, just tuned in on the show. I see you talking about the diet. So I guess you had more of a comment and kind of a question. It was a book that I read by Dr. Africa. It's called Nutricide. It was a pretty good book, and he spoke about this kind of builds on what you were saying about it not growing in nature. So sometimes we take vitamins that may have some supplements in there, but they have the supplements like isolated. So he said you'll never see vitamin C growing on a plant by itself or any organism by itself. Nothing is in it by itself. So if we take it, it has to be combined with some other form of herb or something. So unless it grows naturally. So most of the times when we take it, it's the supplement that's isolated from whatever should be going along with it. And I want the brother, maybe he could elaborate on that and speak about that a little bit.
Oh, you said it all, brother. That's it.
I mean, but it's just more clarity in the sense, like, what vitamins to take or what supplements to take. How would you take them in as compounds together?
Let me say this:
Well,
you have to get somebody. You got to get. For me, I can't. I don't like doing that, and because that's a personal thing. Each body's different, and each body reacts to different things differently. So you have to get the other people on here online that talks about that. That's not my forte. I won't even speak on that. Eat some good food, man.
I can say this right here. I dated back in the 80s. I used to date a young lady. She was a nurse, and her mother was a head nurse. And she told me, because I was, used to work out and stuff, and I told her I was getting these vitamins and stuff. She said, you know what? She said, you always telling me about the vitamins. She said, let me tell you something. She said, you cannot upgrade vitamins. They all the same. All of them go in the grocery store and you see the one-a-day vitamins, and you see the Centrum vitamin, and you say all of it's the same junk, and it's all worthless. I said, really? She said, yeah. She said, if you ain't growing it in your yard, forget about it. That's wow. And that's what she told me. And this was back in the 80s. So, it's just like I was talking about the food supplements and stuff, which includes the vitamins and stuff. And if it's made in a laboratory and it's not, if it doesn't grow naturally, in my opinion, I don't think there's no comparison. Even though food supplements and vitamins and stuff are being billed as superfood now. They even promoting this stuff as superfoods. But in my opinion, there's nothing like that old-time religion. And the Africans, I was checking out this one video, and it's talking about the Africans and when it comes to health, scientists found out that the Africans found that there was color involving the fruits and vegetables that coincided with the illnesses and stuff in the body. Certain colored plants that coincided with the illnesses in the body. But the recommendation is Dr. Sebi. He's got books on YouTube. He's got the Ocean Institute out there. Dr. Lila Africa. And so in my opinion, these, if you want to get some information on the internal workings of this stuff, these are the folks you need to listen to. These are masters of holistic medicine. They actually know herbs. They don't. What I know for Dr. Sebi, he doesn't deal with this stuff from an armchair position, as he tell you. He grew up out in the field. So he know the difference between the herbs and stuff.
Right. So what would you do, like in the case now in the grocery stores? Like everything is just about GMO. So how much of the nutrients are you still getting?
Well, in the first place, you got to, before you go to the grocery store, you got to determine for yourself whether or not some food in there. That's the first thing. And then when you walk in there and you look around and you see a whole lot of stuff, but you see an aisle, let's say health food aisle, your common sense need to kick in and say, well, if this is a health food aisle, what is the rest of this stuff in there? So if we look at that from that position, then the next thing to do is whatever we get, we need to read. And there'll be a whole lot of terms and initials and stuff on the packaging. And if it's something that we don't understand, we need to look it up. I want you to do this. A lot of work going into before you cook something. But you need to do that, man. You're talking about your health.
Well, I guess I shouldn't have to read if I'm buying good food, right? You have to really read if I'm buying good food.
Well, in the first place, you ain't getting no food out of that. You
don't
get something to eat out of that. There's a difference between real holistic food and something to eat. There's a difference
processed food. Right.
Yeah.
Well, the key is always going to be when we have just keep these two words, ownership and control, in your mind. Whenever we have a problem, what takes place to our community, what takes place to in a corporation that's going against us or that seems to be aggressive against us, we got to say, damn, do I own that? Was that designed for me? Was that designed to benefit someone else in their beneficiary? So you have to always look at that. See, that's where I'm at with it. I'm always going to be a student. So I'm always learning. I surround myself with people who are generals in their own field. So when we look at the grocery stores, we know that we have to build what it is that we desire. If we desire it sounds like somebody cut ice up in the background. So if we desire a place that there's no crime, then we got to build that community. If we desire a place where we can go and they have a whole, 5 rows of fresh fruit, vegetables, healthy foods, we have to build that. And we have to make it affordable. So we have to have business-minded people, people that are astute in that field. If we want to start manufacturing things, then we have to do that too. So if we're going to contribute not only to our local area but to the entire planet, we have to stop being consumers and start being the builders and the producers. And by doing that, that's the bigger picture of people blacking out on a Friday. You're not spending your dollar, but shit, you ain't got nothing of your own to spend it in. So when people have been boycotting, they should be able to see, well, damn, I don't even own a store. So that boycott ain't going to last long because everything you've been spending your money on belongs to somebody else. The food, too. So ownership and control, man, it's the only movement. That's my hashtag. It ain't Black Lives Matter. It's ownership and control. You don't own the food, you ain't going to do nothing. You don't own a judicial system or you don't own an economic enclave, you're not going to get justice. You know what I mean? So we have to keep putting out the positive information, empowering information towards moving towards as a collective when it comes to putting in these, for example, the small urban farms in between these houses, these abandoned houses in our neighborhood. This is how you bring in positive energy. This is how you shift the paradigm by bringing life in an area where there was no life. You literally change the landscape by bringing in moringa trees, cucumbers, tomatoes, whatever you're going to grow, kale, versus it used to be nothing but broke bottles and baby diapers and tires there. Now we've put a farm there, life, which is your diet, and of course, in deity, how you spell that? Diet and deity, is that similar? Who's the god of agriculture?
Yeah, definitely.
Osiris. Who's Osiris? The Greek term, Osar, out of ancient Kemet, the god of agriculture. That's why he's green. What does the green represent? The green represents transformation. Mm-hmm. So the first government was based off of agriculture. Of course, it's based off the family, but it's based off of agriculture. Those are forms of currency. There's a lot of things that take place with agriculture. Mm-hmm.
I was reading a story about the farmers in Italy and how the government was forcing them off of their farms and stuff. So that's how they was growing their foods and stuff, and they was living and stuff, and the government kept messing with them. They closed down the farms, so they took and started making weapons. And next thing you know, we had the mafia. So, same farmers. Farmers, they
over food, all over food,
right? And taking fertilizer and turning it into ammonium nitrate and blowing up the federal building in Oklahoma City with diesel fuel. Let me shut up. But anyway, farmer bad boy, man. He knows what the most dangerous weapons grows out of the ground. But people don't know that. He comes from plants and animals. Let me shut up. Let's talk about life. I want to talk about destroying that. Let's talk about life. You have another question you'd like to ask, brother?
No, that's good. I'm just listening in, brothers, trying to get some more insight, on how to do things, and I guess growing your own garden and getting astute on what to plant and how to plant it, and, harvest. It's a science to it, so it's something you got to learn.
Let me ask you a question. You're in Atlanta, right?
Yes. I'm in
I believe
south of Atlanta, yeah.
Okay, I believe there's a couple of community gardens here. One, I think, the Zulu Nation is involved. I believe they have a small community garden here. I would get involved with them. It's always about, have it belong. It's not all about, but we should all be a part of, like Kwame Ture said, we should all be a part of some type of organization. We got to get a body together versus just being singular, things just running around and we victims when we're by ourselves. And it's one head, two heads is always better than one. So you got regular brothers, man, out here trying to grow something. And
right.
Of course,
I just got to get some people that I guess in touch with some people because I'm in I live in Jonesboro, but it's always trying to find somebody that's on the same page or trying to do some of the same things, and I don't really see them a lot in my area, so I guess I got to look into what you're talking about. You said Zulu Nation, so I have to look online and see what they got. So I appreciate the time. Keep doing the thing, and I'm gonna continue listening.
All right, brother. All right, let me I'll drop a little bit about some of this stuff, man. We get if we take apples, the seed inside an apple is toxic, and the skin on the apple is where the vitamins are. And we can cut an apple over and remove the seeds from it. You can juice that with skins and all, minus the seeds. But when it comes to grapefruit, you only want to skim the yellow off and leave the white bitter part on when you're juicing that, because the white bitter beneath the yellow layer of skin is where the vitamins are. Now, the yellow portion, that to make munitions and explosives with, so we want to get rid of that. There's bromelain inside the pineapple, and so if you're juicing a pineapple, you want to slice that and juice that with the outer skin and all, because that's where the vitamins are, is in the bromelain. And any green vegetation that you're going to use, if you're using kale, if you're using organic spinach, if you're using organic parsley and spinach are the two most powerful vegetations. Use those two together with some apples and juice that down. You good. That takes care of arthritis, bursitis, and stuff in the joints. If you do that for a couple of weeks or so, you'll be all right. As far as the libido and making sure everything is up around the house, apple, spinach, parsley, a chunk of ginger root by the no bigger than the first joint of your index finger, and cranberries. And now it's December, so it's you got plenty of cranberries available. You put those combinations together, spinach, apples, a chunk of ginger root, and cranberries. That opens up the arteries so the blood can flow and everything up around the house. So I hope y'all wrote that down. What else we got, brother?
Water. Drink water in the morning. Water during the day. Okay. Water before you go to bed.
Why we want to do that?
Well, the water in the morning wakes up the internal organs. And, your brain is 70% water. The body is majority water. So we need the water to keep the filters and keep the skin, keep the system clean as well, keep it hydrated. And it's very important. We all come from water, so we need water to sustain ourselves. Can't overlook that ever. Okay. And, of course, you want to get juice. You get, like me, I throw lemons in mine. I throw grapefruit in mine. I throw, like, grapefruit in it. I throw some herbs. I throw some mint from my backyard inside the water. if you want a different taste. And that was something I read or heard, saying, we should be cooking with, one of the brothers probably said we should be cooking with things that we can eat. So our seasoning should be some things that we can eat. And that's why a lot of people don't use salt, because you're not about to eat a spoonful of salt. But you can,
right.
You take oregano or thyme and throw it in there, you can eat that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just different things we need to look at.
Okay. Well, I don't. It's a lot of. I don't use. Actually, I don't put no salt on nothing. It's got to be something else. Even if I'm deep frying fish, I don't season the fish. I simply deep fry it in a special batter, and that's it. I never put any season on it, and you don't need that. And it's excellent when I'm if I'm going to cook some meat or something, then I'll marinate it a couple of days, but there's no salt in it. I don't know. I don't use any salt in anything. What you digging? What you finna dig a hole and grow something over there? Like you digging something. Let me ask you something now, because I've been over there to your house. I've been out in the back. Beautiful garden out there. I mean, man, look at him. You don't have to go to the grocery store no more in life. Now, based on what I see, it's growing in your yard. So the question is, how important is it for people to take right there where they are? If you're in an apartment, they can get some pots. If they have a small yard or have a big yard, how important is it for them to grow something that they can eat right out of their own garden? How important is that?
It's very important. But first, they have to see ownership and view ownership as important. If you don't view owning capacities of your life as important, then it's not important. You won't ever grow anything, because it's easier to just go to Pizza Hut, or it's easier just to go to Five Guys and get a burger versus, you figuring out how to make a blight bean burger, you know what I mean, or how to make a pita wrap out of whatever, cashews and stuff like that. It's work, but man, it's like straight science. And how the sister came up from Miami, Fatima, that's my girl, man. Yeah. She turned me on. She turned us on to moringa here in Jacksonville. She brought the plant as a gift, and then we've been going with it ever since. She spoke at one of the summits, I believe, maybe the summit she spoke at last year. But it is important. First, the person has to view taking control of their life, and everything I'm telling you applies to life across the board. Take control of your life, and by doing that, take control of your food and your diet, because your body is that temple, and it has to have the right things to maintain that temple for the long haul. And then if you have children around, you're the prime example of how to eat, how you are existing based off of your diet, how you're thinking based off of your diet. I put this in my children every day. Eat this food. This is what you need to do. Look at it. Even if they, little boys, they don't really want to do no work, you just tell them, just go out there and touch it. Every now and then I learned you got to spank the tree every now and then. Spank it a little bit. Let them know you care. Talk to it. Send some positive energy towards your plant life. Appreciate it when you're harvesting it. Put that in your body. That I appreciate what I'm doing right now. Boom, boom, boom. Because you're about to help me sustain my life, my children, and my friend and my family that's eating this food from what you've given me. So because they're all alive as well. They all give and receive energy as well. So I won't even get into the whole thing about people put their DNA in plants. That's just weird with me. But if you have a small apartment, we gotta get past the excuses. Okay? Number one, taking control of your life, ownership. Number two, get past the excuses. Oh, I live in an apartment. Does your apartment have windows? Yeah. Put some plants in the window that you can eat, not just for the oxygen. Plants are beautiful to have in your house. It's good for oxygen And it's part of your, it tells a part of your character that you're carrying and nurturing and all that good stuff. But put something in that you can eat. Like right now, I just knocked out an avocado, a big one. So boom, put the 2 picks in it, got it over the glass of water.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, man. I've had my time with the growing plants and stuff when I lived in an apartment, and I got a hold of these Asian peppers, and they were real little tiny peppers, and they had some pretty little white blooms on them. But in my opinion, those peppers was just to look at. You are not supposed to eat now one of them. And the lady, my next door neighbor, she was going to cook some collard greens. She asked me if she can have some of the peppers. And I told her, no. I said, you don't want to eat none of them. You just don't want to get nobody none. I said, no. I said, that's not it. But anyway, I went in the house. I came back out. I smelled the greens. So I knocked on the door. She came to the door. She was trying to, but she kept hiccuping, trying to tell me about the collard greens. I said, oh, so you came out here and stole some of my peppers, then? He said, I just won't do it no more. Didn't I tell you not to eat none of them things? But they're hot. But you can grow food that you can eat right where you are.
That's right.
Right in your pot.
Mm-hmm.
Give you some pot. And it's an excellent project for people. You can use that as a hobby, and it's going to pay off.
Yep, and that hobby, the hobby turns into a lifestyle. Then it can lead to you doing a little bit more research, being creative with, mason jars, wood pallets. Excuse me. Grow more food in a small space, which is why the urban farms are important. Number one, growing in the area where we generally don't have access to fresh fruit and vegetables, and then having people that generally don't farm or have nothing to do with agriculture and learn how to grow their own food, and having an energy and that work taking place. And those little farms, man, those little farms are always great platforms for learning and teaching and conversation with what's going on in the community or what's going on in somebody's life. And for people to come out and exercise, want to volunteer. So wanting to take the ownership of some capacity. Excuse me. Hold on.
Okay. I'm gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back.
When I was an undergrad, I went to Antioch College in Yellow Springs, Ohio. And I remember coming home and, having dinner with my family and grandmother and parents and my sisters at the dining room table. And so I made an announcement. I'm a Marxist. And my grandmother said the more education they get, the dumber they get. But anyway, when I'm training in psychiatry and looking for the answer to be an effective psychiatrist with black people, looking for the answer to racism, and I remember attending a Black Power Committee meeting. And as a matter of fact, I was doing a fellowship in child psychiatry at that point, and I would get a voice. And, if you get a voice in here, you need to see a psychiatrist. If you get a voice in here, I think that's God talking to you. And the voice would say, and I would be writing up cases at the end of the day, and the voice would say, go to a Black Power Committee meeting. Just quietly. It wasn't frightening. So when ministers say they get a call, and I kind of know what they mean. And so this would happen over and over and over again. Again, it was subtle, very subtle, nothing to shake you up or anything, because I didn't go to meetings. And so I finally went to a Black Power Committee meeting. And after the meeting, people were sitting in somebody's apartment eating African food. And a gentleman was on the other side of the room. And I heard this man say, mind you, I'm looking for further answers to racism. And I hear this gentleman over there in the other corner saying racism is a system. And it's like my mind, I'm looking for, they say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so I started talking to this person. The gentleman's name was Neely Fuller Jr. He wasn't a college professor. He was a guard at the Bureau of Engraving in the District of Columbia, where they print the money. And this man had started writing about racism in the mid-1950s when he was in the Korean War. And he said he was seated on his station was on a radar site up in the mountains in Japan. And he started thinking about racism and thinking about what was going on in this country, in this part of the world. And he said that the language of segregation and desegregation didn't make much sense on that mountaintop. And he started thinking that racism is a system. Now I want to repeat after me.
It's time. Summon of the Moors, December 19th through the 20th in Jacksonville, Florida. Several great minds working on one collective, economic security. For the first time in Jacksonville, Taj, Tariq, Bay, Yusuf, L, Akili, and back at the summit, Red Pill and Blue Pill, Tahaka Amana El Bay, Sharif Nolan, and our Amma, the Abundance Child, with myself, Dalo Sakub. Register today at www.summitofthemoors.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back.
Well, I get hyped every time I hear that commercial.
You do? Okay.
Oh.
I'm hyped too, man. I can't wait to get down there and see the brothers and sisters again. And I'm definitely going to get some of that lasagna Sister Abundance Child be making. I mean, that is awesome. That is vegetable, a veggie lasagna that's off the chain. I mean, it's like you, man. Look at here.
It's a piece of heaven in your mouth.
Yeah, it is. I got this time. I'm gonna get me a plate to go too.
Yes, sir.
I like that. That's all right. But let me get on.
Check this out. Check this out. What I found out about when I would go out to the farm, is it became therapeutic for me. Right? Like I like to work out. I like to do a lot of things. I like to read. And then when I got into the plant life, it's therapeutic, man, because you are in transit mentally into taking care of a plant life. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I like to say that to me, this is like, if you could take care, this is like a learning ground, or one of the learning grounds to being a revolutionary, because it is very revolutionary to control your own food, number one. It is very revolutionary to learn the aspects of agriculture for your community, because you get your community right, everything else will be correct. You can't help everybody. You start at home. That's a natural law. Self, family, community, city, state, and then abroad. Not, I got to go help all the rainbows, and then I got to go help all the stars and all of it. No. Start right here at the house. So anyway, when people would try to drain me for information, certain other things that we know about, yo, meet me at the farm. We can talk all day. As long as you're moving this, moving that, trimming this, right along with me. And we get up, and I'm fortunate, to have had a granddaddy and other elders, man, that tell you get up with the sun. My father, get up with the sun. Don't start your work day in the middle of the day. That's what the ancestors. You start with the sun. You understand? That's why they broke and take a lunch at high noon, because it's hot as hell. So anyway, by that time, your work day should be basically almost done anyway. So by going out there, man, and figuring out these tomatoes, going on YouTube, reading these books, and watching how people did certain things, you learn a lot. You become an architect. You become a slight plumber when it's trying to deal with the hydroponic aspect of it. An economist, because it took money. The philanthropist part, because you have people donating. You had to conjure up the volunteers to keep them going and get excited. Marketers, so the community can get involved. So there's a whole bunch of things when it comes to urban farms, especially Moore's urban farms. So when I say it's a testing ground for becoming a revolutionary and a particular leader, is because you're not out there just for yourself. You got to make sure these plants can survive till harvest time, and then beyond that, to be reharvested again. That's why I think it's a real science, man, with just getting out there. And then I used to have a brother come. I used to do the little videos. I had to have a brother come and show some martial arts. Had the children come through. Definitely want to have the young children come through and see where this food comes from and how they can. It's touchable. It don't come from Publix and just Winn-Dixie and Kroger. It has to start here first, and it can start in the backyard. But we have to do counter-intelligence and counter-marketing and make it fun and cool to grow your food, to eat these particular foods. You want these muscles? You got to eat this food. Popeye ate spinach, and he got strong, right? That's how I wound up liking spinach. Even though I hated when my mama made it. It made me throw up just the smell of it. I don't know. I think she was getting up. Back then, Mom was getting everything up out the can. The sweet corn, the spinach.
Yeah.
Hell, the spaghetti, the Spam, everything. 70s, 80s, everything was coming up out the can, man. I don't know what that was in this here. But, you come out the project, that's what it is. So,
yeah.
So, man, the agriculture is fun. It's work, and it's good work. And that's why you see our elders who come out the agricultural revolution, they were healthy. They lived long and healthy lives. Because, number one, they stayed active. They stayed active and they ate what they grew. Not like these people that go to another continent and shoot a fucking giraffe. What? Or pay $60,000 to shoot a bull elephant. What is that? You understand? That's the nature of character that we're dealing with out here, man. It's ridiculous. Start with Michael Vick in jail. Dog fight.
Wow. But you absolutely correct, man. And when you talk about the therapeutic aspect of being out there on the and being out in your garden, I had because I used to, of course, we was always raised up growing gardens and food and stuff, but I had a job working for a construction company out of Alabama, and I always thought it was very, very therapeutic because we was always on the ground. Our feet were on the actual dirt, and
that's right.
The tractors would dig the holes and stuff, and we would guide the pipes down in, but we were grounded, and so it was like at the end of my day, I might have been a little tired or what have you, but I was always healthy and alert because people have to understand that the body is made for the earth, and we are electric beings. And when you are if you got a electric wire, that wire has to be grounded, and that's why they have on the little new plugs they got now. They have 3 prongs, 2 for the electric outlet, and the other prong is for the ground wire. Because you want to be grounded, and that completes your circuit. And people who are out in your garden, if you don't spend but an hour, 45 minutes to an hour out in your yard growing your own food and stuff, that contributes to your health and well-being and your wholeness a great bit. And it really does. It's a very therapeutic thing. What you billing over there?
Huh?
Oh, I thought you were billing something. I like you.
No, it's people in the inbox asking questions and stuff. I'm trying to do that.
No, okay. But now, what I found out, I was doing some research on plants and trees and stuff, and there was these people had went over there dealing with the Dogons, and based on the information they had extracted from the Dogons, this guy set up a lab, and he believed that plant life was able to communicate with the universe.